What is going on, everybody? Dylan Nossman, DSK Combat Sports, and I'm doing it. Finally doing it. I'm going to be doing consistent videos on YouTube, on my own YouTube, post to Instagram as well sometimes, weekly, hopefully a little more often. And again, you know, as anybody who knows me knows, I have a lot to say about a lot of different things. I'm very involved in the MMA space as a fighter, as a journalist, as a, you know, media member, all those things. And yeah, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't start putting myself out there a little bit more in terms of the video content. So yeah, off the top, anybody, if you would, you know, anybody's watching, if you guys would mind liking, subscribing, I'm really gonna start building this channel some more. DSK Combat Sports has kind of been my moniker on Instagram and with a lot of my media, but you know, I've done a lot of interviews with some amazing people with Calf Kick Sports, Mom's Basement MMA. Shout out to you, Tyler Little, you're the man. Have fun at PFL DC this weekend. Yeah, you know, it's just, I feel like it's time for me to start actually developing, you know, my own page, my own YouTube channel, getting my, you know, my prediction videos, my views on the sport, international stuff, all that kind of just out there. So yeah, once again, if you guys could like, subscribe, go follow me on DSK Combat Sports on Instagram. That would be awesome. But off the top, I kind of want to talk about, obviously those who know me personally know that I fought this last weekend. I had a kickboxing fight, first one in about a year, and unfortunately did not go my way. But this was a big one for me, man. I faced a guy with a lot of experience, a lot of international experience, fighting down in Mexico, a couple pro fights on his record, which, you know, so it's weird translating over from countries, so not really a big deal. You know, over in Thailand, you get paid 70 baht to go fight in a bar, and then all of a sudden you're a pro fighter. So I don't put too much stock in that, but you know, this guy was really skilled. Comes from a good gym, ex Muay Thai here in Phoenix, and yeah, I knew I was up against it, but this was one of those kind of face your fear moments. And you know, first fight without shin guards, I went in there against an opponent who I, you know, knew was going to be a really, really tough matchup. He ended up catching me. I kind of got Shane Burgos, kind of like the delayed knockout reaction, like how he did against Edson Barbosa. So hit me with a kick, kind of lost my legs, didn't really go out, but it was definitely a good stoppage. But yeah, man, again, I feel great. I'm healthy, feel tremendous, and at the end of the day, amateurs especially, it's all about experience. So I'm just happy that I can get in there and fight and, you know, come out the other side and feel better about myself as a fighter in person. So anyways, for cool pictures on that fight, you guys can check out my Instagram. Footage should be up sometime. You know, like I said, it was a very good fight. I landed some good shots, but at the end of the day, the better man won. And yeah, so back to training today, hopefully, and then looking to hopefully hop in the cage here soon. But aside from that, we are coming to you live, or I am coming to you live, July 22nd, 2026, ahead of UFC Fight Night, Abu Dhabi, Ankalaev versus Guskov. Kind of an interesting card here. Obviously, main event switched up last second. Ankalaev was scheduled to face Khalil Roundtree. Roundtree pulled out with an injury, and in stepped, Guskov, who he was scheduled to face Jan Blachowicz actually in Serbia for the cursed rematch that they just keep booking and booking and booking, because they had that draw, and then they booked it, and then they pulled, and they booked again, and I'm just so glad that fight isn't happening. Blachowicz is taking on Navajo Sterling now, which again is a much more exciting fight in its own right as well. So again, I think overall good shifts for the division. But yeah, this card, it's going to be interesting. I got a lot of personal bias on this card. Not going to lie, my teammate Tyrell Fortune is fighting Rizvan Kuniev. Very big fight in the heavyweight division. So obviously, I'm a little biased seeing him train and, you know, working alongside him every day. But let's start at the bottom. First fight of the night, we got Abdul Hussein coming out of Finland, taking on Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson, longtime veteran in the UFC, fought in the Ultimate Fighter multiple times. You know, kind of one of those just perennial middle of the pack bantamweights in the division, but always a tough out, you know. And Abdul Hussein's coming in with a lot of hype. This is a guy I've had circled as a prospect for a while. He's 15-2. One of his two losses came to Mohammed Vagaev for Brave Combat Federation back, I think 2021 or 2019, 2017 maybe. So anyways, a long time ago, lost by decision, and since then he's just been on absolute tear, finishing guys left and right, chokes, punches. He most recently knocked out Tyson Nam, UFC veteran and a Hawaii legend. So obviously unfortunate for Nam, but shout out to him. And Abdul Hussein, I believe he was supposed to be in the Ultimate Fighter. Some things kind of went awry, ended up getting signed directly to the promotion, and he's debuting here. Yeah, really exciting fight here. I think Abdul Hussein, the biggest thing he's going to be up against the size disadvantage here. He's coming in at 5'5". He looks small against Makaev, which is significant because Makaev's a flyweight. He fights up a bantamweight as well, but at the end of the day, that's going to be Abdul Hussein's biggest hurdle to overcome. He has great boxing, good wrestling, tremendous chokes. He's really good at finding a submission on the ground. And yeah, on the other side, Cody Gibson, he's coming up at 71-inch reach. He's a big bantamweight. He's fought up at 145 before. And he's just, like I said, just a well-rounded guy. Really good on the ground, solid boxing. He did get caught in his last one against Orichi Long, but that was more of just a tactical mistake. He threw an inside low kick twice in a row with no setup, and out of the southpaw stance, Orichi Long just dropped the bomb, and that was that. So definitely near in the tail end of his career, but like I said, tough out. Never count out Cody Gibson, but I'm going to be going with Abdul Hussein here, probably by TKO. I think he's got really good hands. His athleticism is top notch. He trains with a really good team, and he's just, I think, one of those guys. He might end up moving down to flyweight, hopefully, but he's going to be a name to watch in the division for a while. So next up, Nurullo, the Tajik Eagle, taking on Mike Davis. This one is this is an interesting fight as well. I think Nurullo Aliev, he's a 3-0 in the UFC, coming from that vaunted Khabib team. A lot of people call him mini Khabib. I don't see the similarities that much. Obviously, he's got great wrestling. He has I'd say a better, a more well-rounded striking game. He's got decent kicks. He can box. Obviously, last time out against Shamrock, he was looking like Roberto Duran out there, just cutting angles, hitting shots, doing whatever he wanted. But that was, Shamrock didn't really show up for that fight. So he's taking on Mike Davis here, which Mike Davis, he was he delivered the most brutal knockout I've ever seen in UFC history against Thomas Gifford a while back. One of the most one-sided beatings you'll ever watch. If you want to feel sick to your stomach, go watch that fight. The referee should be in jail. Thomas's dad should be in jail for being in his corner and not throwing in the towel, but that fight was fucking brutal. That kind of put Mike Davis on the map for a lot of people. And he's been kind of interesting up and down since then. He had a few wins, but had a loss to Ferris CM. He had a fight where he was pulling guard, which was really weird. And the thing about Mike Davis is he just doesn't fight that often. He's an extremely athletic guy, but he just doesn't seem to. I don't know. He's talking in interviews, talking about how I make my money and I travel and this life allows me to do what I want, and I think that's beautiful. But when looking at it through a lens of okay, moving up the rankings, trying to get a title shot, it just doesn't. It's not once a year. It's not really going to work. So, I know he's also had some injuries that have affected him over the time, but again, he's a really well-rounded guy. Really good boxing, good jiu-jitsu, decent wrestling. Like I said, just a top-tier athlete. And Aliev on the other side is just kind of a technical guy. He doesn't. I'd say my biggest criticism of Aliev is his inability to find the finish. He hurt Shamrock multiple times. I've seen him get really dominant positions on the ground, and for whatever reason, he just doesn't really push it into that third or fourth gear to actually, find the finish. But at the end of the day, I think he's still probably a top 25 lightweight in terms of skill. And I think he is probably gonna decision Mike Davis here. But Mike Davis, again, live, kind of like the last fight, live dog. He's tough, never an easy out. It just kind of matters about his fight IQ. Third fight of the night, we got Brenson the Gorilla Ribeiro, the Brazilian jobber who just seems to turn up against every elite prospect at 205 and get knocked out, taking on Magomed Tiger Tuchalov, which this is a prospect I am so excited about. I posted a clip of him on my Instagram last night, knocking out a fighter at UAE Warriors, but this guy is the complete package. At 205, I mean, he's got athleticism, he's got speed, he's nimble, he throws flying knees. His Muay Thai is fantastic. I mean, he threw a 4 or 5 elbow combination. He's sick, and he's again only 6-0. He's young. He's fought a lot as an amateur as well. So this guy's kind of the limit for this guy, and obviously they're serving him the gorilla on a platter to kind of get finished. So I think he's gonna get him out of there real quick, probably 3 or 4 minutes in the first round. Again, it's like Ribeiro's. He has nothing notable about his game. He kind of just stands there and gets hit. So Tuchalov, definitely a prospect to watch. I hope he's not one of those guys with visa issues and stuff, or I hope he can travel to the US, because this is a guy, if he can get some fights going in a row, I think we could be looking at him ranked like by next year. So next up, holy banger. And by the way, I'm on Tapology right now, so the bout order might not be completely correct. I believe this fight's a little bit higher up, but Ismael Bonfim taking on Axel Sola. Axel Sola, one of my favorite French prospects, coming over. He was a double champion over in France, fighting for Erceg FC. I mean, really high level wins. This guy, again, really complete prospect. He's got striking, grappling, kicks, you know, he can finish fights. He just, it's a little porous defensively, and I think a lot of people saw that in the Mason Jones fight. Just got hit a lot. And my honest number one concern about this fight is how short of a time it's been. Let's see, how long was it since that Mason Jones fight? Excuse me while I look. That was March 21st, 2026. So we're, what, like 4 months out, which, I mean, that's a decent amount of time, but that dude, I mean, he was beat to shit in that fight. And, you know, it was a war, but, you know, you just got to wonder how much time he took off, how much time he was able to train. And then on the other side, he's facing a guy, Ismael Bonfim, with a lot of experience. You know, he is the younger brother of Gabriel Bonfim, who's been on an absolute heater lately. And, you know, Ismael, he grapples well. He's got a great rear naked choke. He's really good at taking the back, but he's a bit of a first round or bust kind of guy. I mean, you know, his gas tank's a little suspect. He's a little bit more wild and emotional than his brother. You know, we saw in the BSD fight, BSD just kicked him in the body like 8 times, and Bonfim was like, come on, come on, come on. And it's like, dude, you're not doing anything. You're just eating kicks. So anyways, he's a good underdog here, though. Again, Axel Sola, depending on how his defense looks, depending on how his body is healed up, I think if Bonfim can get going in the first round, get a takedown, I think he can potentially find the sub here. But I think the further it goes, especially depending on how Axel looks, you know, once he starts getting hit and stuff, I think this fight is gonna trend his direction. So I'm gonna go with Axel Sola here by 3rd round TKO, but Ismael Bonfim, very, very, very live underdog here, and I think he might get it done as well. Moving up the card, we got Unk versus Youth. We got the Argentine dagger Santiago Ponzinibbio coming back once again, 30-9. Jesus Christ, he's been around, man. Taking on Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson coming off that MVP loss, obviously one of the most maligned fights of the year. People really, really, really didn't like that one, but it's the UFC's fault. I mean, they match made this fight trying to make MVP look bad. They knew they were teammates. They knew they trained together before. They're not a fan. They're not fans of MVP. I mean, you saw that the Nursultan Boy is signing. Like, it's just weird. They're not treating him well. He has moved division. So, anyways, not about MVP right now. This is about Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson, really long, really lanky. Used to fight at lightweight when he got absolutely slept by Yanal Ashmouz in England, and then he moved up to welterweight, and that seemed to be like the best decision he could have made, because he went on a 4-fight finish streak. I mean, just knocking out submitting guys, and obviously the MVP loss kind of came up a little short, but didn't get hurt, didn't get damaged. I mean, it's just one of those kind of learning experiences, and they seem to be treating him well, giving him the ghost of Ponzinibbio, which, you know, anybody who's been watching MMA for a long time, you know Santiago. I mean, kind of perennial welterweight contender for a while there in the mid 2010s. He was the first guy to headline an event in Argentina for the UFC, which is huge. And yeah, he's a legend. I mean, he deserves his grace. And honestly, he had, I think, Lyme's disease, or no, that was Jim Miller. He had a blood condition that basically he had like to take multiple years off for and couldn't fight at all. So like, it's kind of disappointing to Santiago, because I feel like we got robbed of a lot of his prime because of that condition. And you know, it's impressive to see him still doing it, but man, we've seen him his last couple fights. He's looked pretty rough, you know, getting rocked consistently. He really only has the right hand now. If he can catch you, he'll put up a fight. But other than that, he's kind of getting sent out to pasture here. So I'm gonna go with Sam Patterson, probably by knockout, but I think he could get a sub here as well. I mean, I think it's kind of the fight is his oyster, and wherever he wants to take it, I think Ponzi's just a little too past it at this. Except the card, we have Dustin Jacoby versus Magomed Saidov, or Mohammed Saeed, kind of however you want to say that. It's been listed multiple ways, multiple times. This is an interesting one. Dustin Jacoby taking another young prospect on short notice. He fought Julius Walker last time out, my boy, my homie Juicebox. Love you, bro. And Dustin Jacoby, again, He was supposed to fight Jimmy Crute. That fight fell out. Ended up taking Julius Walker, won that fight. But this guy's kind of just game to fight whoever, man. He's a perfect middleweight gatekeeper. You know, former glory kickboxer, really well-rounded. He's bothered to be at times due to his fight IQ, like shooting for takedowns at the end of fights and things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you never know what's going on in a guy's mind and you know, his body, whatever. So, you know, at the end of the day, Justin Jacoby he's listed number 16 light heavyweight in the UFC on Tapology. So again, really kind of 15 through 20. If you can beat him, you're probably due for good things, and if not, then back of the line, buddy, because Justin Jacoby, the Hanyak, is his own invented nickname. He's a good guy, great striker. You know, good at controlling rounds, winning rounds. And on the other side, Mohamed Saeed, he's okay. I'm much more excited about Tuchalov coming into this card out of the two prospects kind of coming out of UAE Warriors. Mohamed Saeed is a little bit one note. He moves around a lot. He likes to, you know, sit down on heavy shots. He throws a really nice 1-2-9 to the head, so that lead head kick. Throws a wheel kick as well, but I mean his level of competition was really poor at UAE Warriors, and I think that Dustin Jacoby's a massive step up in competition here, and I think that Dustin Jacoby's probably going to win this on just veteran grit, being more experienced, and again, the pedigree that he has in striking and all that stuff. I think that Saeed, he might have some success in the UFC, but I think this is a little too step up too soon, too early. But next up, we have Walter Walker, the clean monster or the foot hunter, whatever you want to call him, taking on Thomas the Train Petersen, my boy. Trains out here in Arizona sometimes at UKF. LFA champ. I really always enjoyed Thomas Petersen. He was one of those guys that, like, one of those heavyweights who would actually, like, run the pipe on single legs and level change and mix it up when he was in LFA and do a lot of really good things. So I always liked him. His UFC career's been a little hit or miss, you know, up and down. He's faced some really tough guys, got knocked out a couple times. Vitor Petrino caught him late. But his last win was awesome. Beat Alan Fry, and I believe it was Alan Fry. Let me double check my my work here. I don't want to be misinforming the people. No, sorry, Guillermo Pat, who Alan Fry fought. So easy confusion right there. But yeah, he's taking on Walter Walker, who's fighting a 4-fight heel hook streak in the UFC, which is hilarious because he never had a heel hook prior to getting into the UFC. This is something he literally picked up and realized, wait, heavyweights just can't defend this, and he learned it, and he's really good at it. The unique thing about Walter Walker's heel hooks are his entries. He doesn't like, well, his main entry is what he'll do is he'll shelf the leg. He'll go into like close guard or half guard, and he'll shelf the leg up onto his hip. And then when the leg is up, he'll fall back into the heel hook and expose the heel, which is actually really slick because the way that he does it, it turns him away from his opponent. So his opponent, even if they get on top, they won't be able to just start punching him. He also had a really slick entry from the back body lock. He almost like dropped into, you know, like reverse De La Hiva, single leg X, and grabbed it. I believe that was against Njuchukwu, but yeah, man, Walter. He does have a loss against Lucas Bresky, who's probably one of the worst heavyweights to ever fight in the UFC. So, you know, we have seen him gas. We've seen him kind of look bad. He's obviously coming off a broken leg. We'll see how that impacts him. But at the end of the day, I think Thomas Petersen is just going to put himself in positions that will open up leg locks. I mean, wrestlers are good. Wrestling is good. But a lot of leg lock game, a lot of jiu-jitsu game is to counter that top control, top pressure, you know. So if he's not careful, I think he could be getting heel hooked here. But at the same time, if he stays safe, works the boxing, works the level changes, you know, maybe takes Walter down, doesn't necessarily pursue him to the ground, things like that, I think that that he has a chance to win this by decision, especially if Walter starts to gas. Next up, Abubakar Vagaev versus Saeed Izagakhmaev. This fight should be an ACA. Like, if you guys look at these names and are like, oh wow, these guys, like, you know, born. Yes, Abubakar has 19 decisions on his record. He's really skilled. He's a good wrestler, good boxer, good pressure, but he just not much in terms of excitement there. And then Saeed Izagakhmaev, is coming off that loss to Nicholas Dalby. He had a run of one championship. He's He's fine. He's not super dangerous. Had a couple wins over like Shinya Aoki, who's very old, by finish. But at the end of the day, I think against top level competition, I just don't see him doing a ton. And this is a very mirror matchup here, so we will see. This fight goes the distance. I don't really know who's going to win. I'd say Vagaev probably wins. I think he's a little more complete, but he's also got a lot of 5-round experience, which helps, just obviously cardio-wise. But yeah, man, this is like not my favorite fight of the card, to be completely honest. Next up, personal feelings at stake here. We got Rizvan Kuniev taking on Tyrell Fortune, my boy, Tyrell Fortune. So again, for those who don't know, I train at Arizona Combat Sports here in Tempe, Arizona. It's where I fight out of. It's where I work. It's kind of my whole life. And Tyrell is one of the longest-term fighters out of ACS. I fought for Bellator for a long time, fought for the PFL, regional scene, and then finally got signed to the UFC. I mean, well-deserving. He really deserved it. Former D2 All-American wrestler, Grand Canyon. Long career of success in Bellator. So I'm just happy to see him getting his shot finally. He won over Marcin Tybura, which was one of the craziest situations when they incorrectly announced the winner and brought Tyrell back into the cage to properly win. That was like, I lost it, man. I was freaking out, and then we corrected it. I was like, yeah. Anyways, crazy moment. But Tyrell, man, he's good, man. He's really athletic for his age. He's got a lot of strength. He's not the largest heavyweight. Comes in about 6'2". He's got good boxing. His boxing is really, really improved. So training with Waldo Cortez Acosta has been like the best thing for Tyrell's career and for Waldo's, because they play off each other's strengths and weaknesses so well. Waldo is a boxer. Tyrell's a wrestler. Tyrell pushes Waldo in the wrestling. It gets his defense better. Waldo boxes Tyrell, gets his boxing better. So they've really, I say neither of them would have the success they've had without each other, training with each other. So at the end of the day, I think he's going to want to stick and move for this fight. He's going to want to work his jab. He's faster than Kuniev by a lot. And Kuniev is a big 2 punches fall into a clinch type of guy, especially since the steroids. So I don't see a lot of people talking about this either. And obviously it was a while ago, but Rizvan Kuniev beat Renan Fajeda in the PFL. And then shortly after, that fight got overturned when Kuniev tested positive for 4 different steroids at the same time. I'm just going to go and pull them up so I can read them. So that I'm no steroid expert, but if you test positive for anabolic steroids, drostanolone, metenolone, boldenone, and 19-noradrosterone, I think you're a fucking juicer, man. So hilarious. I'll just pop it up on the screen in the edits. The before and after of Kuniev fucking doing steroids. So point is, he is not the same fighter he was, but he was fighting Eagle FC, PFL, things like that. He lost to Curtis Blades when Curtis Blades had no knees. He had 2 missing MCLs in that fight. He got double knee surgery right after. And then beat Jailton Almeida, which, I don't really know why people rate that win that highly, because Jailton is a horrible wrestler, not a good striker. He was trying to strike to prove he should stay in the UFC and then got cut. Got banished to ACA over in Russia, where Saigid and Abubakar should be fighting right now. Yeah, man, I don't know. Kuniev, he's okay. He's not a bad heavyweight. He's a top 15 heavyweight without a doubt, but I think if Tyrell plays this fight correctly, he will win on the scorecards. Again, his wrestling is great, and a lot of people don't know this, but going into that Marcin Tybura fight, he didn't train for 3 straight weeks because of his back. He had a back injury. It's fully healed now, all good, but that was a major factor that people just didn't talk about. So his cardio was worse, his movement was worse. Everything was kind of affected by that. So I'm biased. I'm going with Tyrell Fortune by decision. Let's get it done, baby. Woo, ACS to the top. Okay, moving. Now we get the real good fights. This pick's gonna piss a lot of people off if I even have a lot of people watch this. The 10 people who watch this might be pissed. I don't know. Damian Rzepecki taking on Magomed John Pork Chonko Zainukov. Really, really exciting debut fight. Took a long time for them to book John Pork. I'm not really sure why. He had a ton of hype coming off the Contender Series. Obviously, really good friends with Islam. The meme factor is just through the roof with this guy. Finally started to lean into the John Pork stuff a little bit as well. But I honestly assumed they would give him a bum. I don't know, kind of like Mitch Ramirez or something, who fought Chase Hooper last week. But no disrespect, Mitch. You're not a bum. I just mean, you get what I'm saying. But he's taking on Damian Rzepecki, who is legitimately one of the top prospects out of Europe right now. I mean, this guy's 10-0, fighting for organizations like FEN, WOW FC, Ilia's promotion over in Spain. He's been winning titles. He's been defending belts. He's been scheduled for 5 rounds. He's a southpaw, which Magomed's that takes away his leg kicks, takes away a lot of kicking game. And Rzepecki is a just rounded fighter. Great wrestling, great body shots, good boxing, good kicks. I mean, like, I think this guy is the next Polish star, regardless of this result. But at the same time, I mean, he's at like a plus 270 underdog right now because the name value that Magomed has. And obviously, I'm not trying to like shit on John Pork. Like, he's really good. He's got great Muay Thai. But the strength of schedule that he's almost only fought for promotions sponsored or owned by Khabib, who also runs the camp that he trains out of and is friends with Islam. So like, he's gotten extremely favorable matchmaking. William Poles like almost beat him, which was like not a great performance by Zynakov for UAE Warrior, which again is sponsored by Khabib Gym. That's why I point that out. So again, man, I'm going with Rzepecki by sub or late TKO. To be honest, I think he's going to get John Pork out of there. This is my favorite underdog. If you're a betting man, I would bet on Damien. You know, bet responsibly. But yeah, that's where my money's going this week. This is my underdog of the week. So moving up the card, my boy Octagon. This is where I wore the shirt. Islam, the Ripper Dulatov, one of my favorite fighters in the entire world. Octagon veteran. His brother Tamerlan still fights for Octagon over there. I mean, this guy is just a buzzsaw. I mean, 6'3", 6'4", lean, ripped, 80-inch reach. I mean, he's insane striking. Fought a little bit of a soft record in Octagon because they were obviously really building him. He's huge with the German fan base, and he's also a model. He's very wealthy. He does not need to be fighting. This is just for this. This is just for the aura right here. Like he's good, but he's taking on Wellington Turman, who. Bit of a jobber. He's 3-6 in the UFC, something like that. I think Islam gets him out of there in the first round by knockout. I mean, he's just going to put on a show here. He's from Chechnya originally, so he's going to have a lot of fans in the Middle East. There's a reason they put this at number 3 on the main card, and yeah, I think Islam's gonna put in some nasty work here. Knees, elbows, long punches. It's gonna be a showcase. Co-main event of the evening, we've got Steve Carell Erceg taking on Ramazan, the Roid boy Temirov, who robbed my boy Charles Johnson after doing steroids. Well, did steroids and then robbed my boy Charles Johnson and then got caught. So coming off the suspension for Temirov, it's a shame that he's on the was on the juice because this guy's fucking sick, man. He's got crazy striking moving forward. I mean, if y'all remember the fight with CJ Vergara, I mean, he just put it on him. I mean, body shots, head shots, dropped him, pushed him around the cage. Like, he's a real scary guy. But what's he gonna look like after the roids? We don't know. It's gonna be interesting. So he's been off for about a year. He's taking on Steve Erceg, who, you know, everybody's kind of favorite Cinderella story, made it to the title shot after just 3 UFC fights, fought Pantoja, you know, almost won that fight, and it's been a little bit of a struggle since then. He obviously got knocked out by Kai Kara France, had some other difficulties, a couple canceled fights, fought up at 135, and you know, now he's finally starting to build that momentum, fighting another ranked guy. My concern here is Steve Erceg versus power punchers is a bit of a, it's his weakness, you know. I think that he can move at one speed a little bit too much, especially in the striking. You know, he can kind of get a little lulled into his own pace almost. And with a guy like Temirov, if he really just goes, Steve leaves his chin up in the air a little bit. I know Temirov's got good grappling and wrestling as well, so I love my boy Steve, but this is a tough stylistic matchup for him. I think Temirov's probably going to get him out of there by round 2 KO. But that being said, I think if Steve can implement the grappling, you know, wear him down a little bit, take this fight into the later rounds, I could see him, you know, getting a decision, potentially getting a sub if he's lucky. But I just don't know how well his offensive wrestling is going to work in this fight. Yeah, so Temirov by KO, round 1 or 2 KO. And the main event of the evening. Big Ank is back following his TKO loss to Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight title. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he was scheduled to face Khalil Roundtree originally, which was a pretty interesting fight in my opinion, two strikers. People always act like Ankalaev is a wrestler or something, probably because of his name. But this dude has shot like, I don't know, minimal takedowns in his career. I don't think he's ever even attempted a submission in the UFC. So like, he's getting choked out by Paul Craig. He got knocked out by Alex Pereira. So it was only two losses by finish. But he's also just had a weird career, man. He had that draw. He had, the rematch with Johnny Walker. I mean, this guy just like his own biggest enemy is himself, typically. And across from him, we got Bogdan Guskov, who, when he got signed, I always thought he's a very exciting, very limited fighter. He loves leading with the rear hand, so he will throw that two out there, no jab, no hook, no setup, and then usually follow up off that. But it's his number one kind of weapon of choice. He punches hard, man. He's got good timing with it. It's just, if guys know it's coming, it's easy to avoid. The big thing about this matchup is I believe it's going to be Southpaw versus Orthodox. And that means that his two will be lined up down the middle. So if you're going to ever have a matchup to chuck that rear hand with no setup, this is going to be the one to do it. And obviously we saw Ankalaev get pretty just overwhelmed when Pereira just decided to go. So, I think there's going to be some moments in this fight where Guskov's going to have his opportunities to really hurt Ankalaev. But it's just a matter of like what his cardio is looking like. It's going to be 5 rounds. He was booked for 3 before. He, has never faced, a guy this high level. He had that draw with Blachowicz, which, he hurt Blachowicz, but he also kind of got out wrestled and kind of got beat, leg kicked a lot. And yeah, I don't know. The odds have Ankalaev like -600, which is probably fair, but again, I think Guskov is not the worst underdog here. He if he can get that rear hand going and really put the pressure, get Ank moving backwards, I think he's got a good shot to hurt him. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Ankalaev by late round finish. I don't think Guskov's gonna have the cardio to go all 5. I think he's gonna end up folding a little bit, and I believe this is his first main event too. So, well, definitely first main event in the UFC, but first like 5-round fight, I mean, in his career. So, all right, decent card. Like I said, for those of you, at least on the West Coast, going to start at 6 a.m. Our time. So wake up early, get ready for it. Some good fights, top down the card. Really excited for this one. And yeah, like I said, like, subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in, and follow me on Instagram, DSK Combat Sports. And I am hopefully going to be back later this week with a UFC antitrust lawsuit video. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I really just want to break down all the stuff in kind of layman's terms that's going on at the UFC, what the lawsuits they're facing are, what the fighters have, what the likelihood of this stuff going through is, and yeah, hopefully just provide some education for the people. But that'll be that for today. UFC Abu Dhabi. Let's go Tyrell. Let's go Rzepecki. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.